So I'm a physicist and a PhD student at Johns Hopkins University, and I want to talk today about how practice makes permanent rather than perfect. Let's start out by understanding how the body works. As time goes by, old cells in your body die, and your body will get rid of it in some way, and then new cells replace the old cells. For example, when you have dead skin on the surface of your skin, those dead skin cells will naturally just sort of like slough off and fall on the ground. That's why you want to clean your home regularly, because there's dead skin cells all over the ground. It's gross, but it's okay. It's life. And in the same way, your body will get rid of old muscle cells, old nerve cells, or old cardiac tissue cells, old blood cells, and so on. New cells that are originally generated in your blood marrow, they will go and replace all of the old cells so that you never run out of skin, right? You're always getting new skin cells, you're always getting new blood cells. So your body is constantly depleting itself of old dead stuff and replacing it all with new baby cells that can grow and change over time. Now, your body will preferentially place cells in locations where you're using them. For example, if you're a bodybuilder and you decide to do, let's say, something simple like bicep curls because you want to grow your biceps, what that means is you use your biceps to exert effort a little bit every single day, and this is the way you talk to your body to tell it, hey, I need to perform this task. It requires this particular muscle to be strong enough to do the task. So body, when my bicep muscle cells get old and die, please make sure you replace them because I really need this muscle to function. Also, if you have any extra cells in supply, can you preferentially make them into bicep cells and put them in my bicep? That would be super appreciated. That is what you're telling your body when you do bicep curls again and again and again. The idea, people say, like, if you don't use it, you lose it, and if you use it, it grows. That's what that means. If you use a muscle, it will grow, and if you don't use a muscle, your body will let all of the old bicep cells, for example, die, and it won't bother to replace them over time. The same rule applies to everything else in your body, including the neural circuitry in your brain. So your neural circuits in your brain are like a computer with a bunch of wires, right? But the wires are actually chains of nerve cells or neurons that form in your brain depending on what types of thoughts you've decided you want to think. And I know that sounds like you have a lot more self-authority than it feels like you do, but you do have authority. There's this concept called neuroplasticity, which essentially says that you can build your brain the same way that you build your body. By using certain neural pathways in your brain on purpose, you can decide that those are the neural pathways you want to be fortified and strengthened over time and not let die. And you can also decide not to think certain thoughts as much as possible over time. And that way, the nerve chains or the wires in your brain that regulate those thoughts, eventually those nerve cells in that chain will die and your body won't bother to replace it because you're not using that chain to form that thought anymore. So you can change and build your brain over time by changing the way that you think. However, the reason it takes so long is because you need to repetitively do bicep curls or repetitively do choosing to think a certain thought and not another thought over and over and over again, day after day. You need to practice in order to tell your body over and over again, hey, when the old cell dies, I need you to replace it. When the old cell dies, I don't want you to replace it. And you have to give that instruction day after day after day, because then finally, when the cells die, your body is prepared with the instruction you have given it to act in the way that you want it to. So if you want to change the way that your brain works, then, and you want to make a sort of permanent change in how your brain works or your body works, you need to repetitively indicate to your body that that's what you want. Otherwise, your body will forget that you asked for it, and it won't actually do the job when the time comes. So practice makes things permanent.